Hi everyone, my name's Jen, trail name is Taters, and I'm a teacher in Southern California. I spent last summer hiking on the Appalachian Trail and the summer before that hiking on the Pacific Crest Trail. Now being a teacher, I get about 10 weeks off from early June to mid-August, which is not enough time to do either of those trails. That was fine for me because my goal is generally to have the most fun I can in those 10 weeks and enjoy hiking and being out in nature during that time. And it was an awesome summer both times. My boyfriend, Matt, trail name Masochist, is the opposite. He is all about having goals and doing the through hike, end to end, no skips, no flips. So that meant that on the PCT, he needed a total of about 5 months to do that. And on the AT, actually ECT for him, it was gonna be about 10 months. So there was a few months on either side of my summer that I was alone back in SoCal and was staying in contact with him and helping him support him as he was on the hike. This video is going to be about what it was like to do that. Overall, I was super happy and proud of him that he was able to do both of those long trails. Doing the PCT had been something he had dreamed about for years, and once he had the opportunity to do it and he was out living the day-to-day on the trail, he was so much happier and more fulfilled, and it was really, really great to get to see that and be a part of that. Of course, I missed him the times that he was away, but that's probably similar to anyone that's been in a long-distance relationship, kind of knows how that goes. And in our case, we already had activities that we did independently. He did a really great job of keeping in close communication all the time. I would normally get multiple text messages from him a day, and if he was in a spot where there was no cell service and he couldn't get a text message out, then he would send me a message through his inReach device. That was something that I was really happy he had, not just for the safety insurance factor, but it was really nice to know that I would be able to contact him somehow, no matter where he was. We would also talk on the phone every few days. That was often limited by being in an area with good enough cell service and also having enough battery power, and also by the time difference this last summer when he was on the ECT. But I did really appreciate when he was able to talk. Another thing that really helped was the YouTube videos that he started making during this last year's hike on the ECT. He hadn't done those on the PCT, and it made a big difference in terms of how connected I felt with him and with his hike, and how much I got to experience kind of what the day-to-day was like. Initially, when he started doing the videos, I was not too thrilled with it.
Now is obviously the perfect time to discuss what we're doing today.
No, Matt.
So, today,
I'm
we are still in Virginia. We are almost done with Virginia. We are doing the Virginia roller coaster. Gandhi is taking proper care of her teeth.
I'm more of a private person, so this idea of broadcasting your day-to-day experience made me pretty uncomfortable. I ended up being happy with it for one reason, because it did give me a pretty good feel for what the trail was like day to day. As far as helping to support him while he was on the trail, there wasn't a whole lot for me to do. He prefers to do most of his resupplies along the trail when possible because it's more flexible and less hassle. So I wasn't mailing him every single resupply box like some hikers do. There was some little things that I could help out with though. I did mail him a few resupply packages. There were a few last summer on the PCT that I mailed to the Washington resorts. A lot of your resupplies along the PCT in Washington are at these remote resorts without a grocery store or anything. So it helped him a lot to get the food resupplies there. And then I did a few along the ECT this last year. I think those were mostly around shoes. He has a particular type of shoes that he knows works for him and has had bad experience whenever he tries to switch to other shoes. So this particular type of shoes is kind of hard to get, so we had stockpiled a few of them in storage, and every 500 miles he knew that he was going to need to switch, so I would find a place to send them. And then when I was sending him the shoes, I would also throw in some other things, socks, water filter, some of the food items that I know we can get in SoCal that are often hard to find elsewhere, like boba bars or the dehydrated refried beans. It's also just nice sometimes to have someone with computer and internet access. So for example, if he was in an area without cell service, sometimes he would send me a message on the inReach saying, is it going to rain tomorrow? And that would be something easy. I could check the weather and reply back on his inReach. Sometimes I would look ahead to help him research resupply options or book a hotel for the next town.
I was able to get a call out to their number, and they were going to check, see if it was okay if I stay here. And now I have no reception, no matter what I do. So I'm currently trying to get Jen to get a hold of somebody so I can find out if I have permission or not.
On both of these last 2 hikes, I did have some opportunities to see him other than my summer vacation where I was actually hiking with him. On the PCT, it was because that was spring 2020 that he was starting the PCT, and school had just been closed due to COVID. So I had the flexibility to work from my car anywhere as long as I had my laptop and cell service. So I could travel around and hike in and see him at night, camp with him for the night, hike with him on the weekends as he was starting off on the southern end of the PCT. This last year on the ECT, I was able to fly out on my spring break, which is the first week of April. And at that point, he was in Alabama. So I got to do a section of the Alabama road walk with him and then a section of the Pinhoti Trail with him. That gave me a nice little sample of the Alabama section of the trail.
And Jen's first dining experience in Alabama for dinner was at the Waffle House, where she found out that they give you really funny looks if you ask for a veggie burger.
Got to explore a part of the country that was new to me, and it also broke up the 6-month section from January to June that we were apart. So that made it so that the maximum time apart was about 3 months. Next up in the plans is the CDT coming up this summer. Super excited for that. It's going to be a little bit different because we're going southbound. So instead of starting in March, April, we're starting in late June, early July. So we'll be starting together in my summer vacation. And Matt should be around in California through the time I got out of school, basically through the end of May. Well, we'll see. We'll see if he comes up with anything else, but hopefully he'll be around till the end of May. And then we would start the trail together, get through Montana, Wyoming-ish together. And then the big section that we'd be apart for would be in fall, as he's on the southern part of the trail and I'm back at school.